Oh, hey, so I wanted to share with you what I did yesterday and kind of reflect with you on the effects of oppression and the early signs of how how dictators start to work on making people accept what they do. Yesterday I called John Thune's office and being cheeky like I always do, I left him a message and said, "Congratulations. I wonder if your boss, Vladimir Putin, is going to give you a bonus for you and Cittadini organizing to debilitate the United States all on the same day." He was able to get the Senate to default our economy and shut down the government. And Cittadini gathered all of our generals in a national security risk event and basically demeaned them and called them fat and said, if you're not, you're out of here if you're too fat. And basically sicked the government on the people and called us the enemy from within. I mean, Vladimir Putin could not be more happy. So I asked John Thune if he was going to get a bonus from his boss, because I remember the fact that he and 5 other Republicans went to Russia on July 4th, 2018, and they met with Lavrov. They called it a goodwill meeting. Yeah, it was a goodwill. They went there to get direct instructions from Russia on how to undermine our Constitution and literally how to create an insurrection. And I firmly believe that the Republican Party has been getting help with that effect since then. I mean, the Mueller report indicated that Cittadini was in part installed by Putin in 2016. And in fact, that's one of the things that I hold against Iron Fist Pelosi, that she refused to do what Mueller said and investigated at the congressional level. Again, this is the hard part about living in America, because we basically have one party. We have the Republicrats. We have real Democrats like Jasmine Crockett, AOC, but the people in charge like Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, the one that make the deals, they're Republicrats. They are rats who pretend to be Democrats, and they side with the Republicans all the time. And they go, well, there's nothing we can do. Just like Iron Fist Pelosi refusing to even to impeach Cittadini when he started breaking the emoluments clause in 2017, when he started sticking kids in cages, when he stole top secret documents, when the Mueller report came out and said that, it looks like there was Russian interference. If any of those things had been investigated, that man would have been convicted. But because she absolutely held her fist down and said, no, we're not doing it, she used him as a pawn, a political pawn. This is the thing that infuriates me the most about the Democrats, is that they used Cittadini as a political pawn. They let him get so out of control, thinking no one's going to vote for those guys if we let him get out of control. Guess what? They lost on that idea, because, again, this is my opinion, I think Elon Musk and Vladimir Putin did something to install him. And I think that's being borne out by the elections case in New York. But moving on, I wanted to share this idea about when I called John Thune's office and left him that kind of cheeky message about him getting a bonus from Vladimir Putin, because I have not forgotten that he went to Russia on July 4th, 2018. That has stuck in my craw ever since then. And I genuinely believe that that's when they sealed the deal and the Republicans were bought and purchased by the Russian government. But I was thinking last night, like, dang, I hope they don't throw me in jail over that. Like, I hope the new Gestapo doesn't come rolling in and knocking down my door one day, hauling me off Putin-esque style, to stick me into some weird prison. And then I thought about a letter that I wrote to Nancy Pelosi. I wrote a letter to Nancy Pelosi in 2006 or 7 after she saw the Abu Ghraib tapes and took impeachment off the table instead of going hardcore, fast impeachment on the torture tapes to George Bush Jr. She took impeachment off the table. The only other woman who saw those tapes created the Homegrown T-Word Act, Terrorist Act, which basically stated in that act, if an American organizes and creates a general strike against any major American corporation that is effective enough to affect that corporate's bottom line, then you can be arrested for as a T-word. That's what a Democratic female did. So I was so mad. I used to call them up and demand impeachment of George Bush Jr. Like, I was relentless. Like, I can't tell you how real. It's kind of like now. I call my congresswoman at least 3 to 4 times a week and demand impeachment of Cittadini. Same thing. And I was faxing letters to all of the Congress people. I mean, it was just, I had this pipe dream that I thought if we pressure Congress enough, they'll actually uphold the Constitution. Little did I know, they don't care about it either. But as we're seeing right now, like, this guy has done so much wrong. There should be so many articles of impeachment stacking up on the insurrectionist deaths of Mike Johnson. I mean, Mike Johnson is an insurrectionist. We knew he was on January 7th. It came out that Mike Johnson was part of the insurrectionist group, along with Marjorie Taylor Greene, who gave tours to people. Like, in my view, Merrick Garland is a traitor. I think he was sent in to protect Trump, not to convict Trump. And the proof is in the pudding, right? And so now what do we have? We have the new Gestapo. We have concentration camps. We have Jimmy Kimmel kicked off TV. We have Colbert kicked off of TV. We have colleges and all the HSBUs, the black colleges. Their funding is getting threatened. We're going back to the KKK administration. Like, I mean, it is beyond comprehension. The level that, I mean, at what point is too bad for the Democrats, right? But about this letter, I used to not be afraid to say anything to the Democrats, right? I would just call them up and tell them anything. And last night I'm like, oh, I hope this doesn't get me into trouble. It reminded me of the letter that I wrote to Nancy Pelosi in 2006 about impeachment. And in my letter, I said, I'm not stopping. Like, I am going to be demanding this. And if you want to come arrest me and stick me in a prison to shut me up, go ahead. Because the good news about being poor, I won't have to pay rent, and I might actually get regular sex. And so my friends couldn't believe I wrote that in a letter, but I mean, I want an impact. I want them to, like, stick in their brains about stuff, about how immoral they're behaving. This is immoral behavior that the Republicans are dealing with right now. It is beyond comprehension that 6 of our senators went to Russia on July 4th, 2018. And now one of them is the leader of the Senate? Like, that is sus to me. Very sus. And they have broken Trump, excuse me for saying that horrible word, Cittadini took office on January 20th, and in less than 10 months, they have busted the American economy and are threatening all of our generals. That is an insurrection. We are living in an embedded insurrection. And the sooner the Democratic leadership gets that message, the better. And as far as me being thrown in jail, like, whatever. I'm still poor and I'm probably too old to get regular sex, so it doesn't matter. But I would be willing to go to jail. I am not going to back down. I'm going out on No King's Day, and my sign is going to say duty to disobey, because our soldiers out there need to disobey the orders, and they need to be willing to sit in the jail for that one and wait their time out, because what we do matters, and our Constitution matters.